Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Low Limit Football on Low Limit Poker Radio. I am your host, Joe Usello, and tonight I'm going to be flying solo. My co-host, Ben the Machine Smith, is unable to join us tonight. He picked up a new job this evening, and he's got to get a good night's rest to get his first start tomorrow. So wish Ben the best of luck in his new position, his new job, and he will be back in the next couple of weeks. Speaking of, next week we will be off. I will be away. I believe that is November 11th. So there will be no show next week, and we will return on November 18th, which is Monday, at our normal time of 7 p.m. Eastern. And for Ben, I believe that is midnight in England. So for those of you that are listening in tonight or joining us later on the download on the podcast and the archives, thanks for joining me. I'm sure tonight I'll gain a new appreciation of the job that Todd Watellis does at Poker Fraud Alert when he has to fly solo. So tonight what we'll do is we're going to end up doing a nice quick little rundown of the leagues. We've had 2 complete days of qualifying for the Champions League that will get into the scores and some of the minor highlights there. We're going to do a little preview of the MLS tonight. I know normally we don't do much with the MLS. We kind of, we gave Vancouver a little bit of a go a few weeks ago for one of our faithful listeners, but they are playing the second leg of their playoffs tonight and tomorrow. So we're going to go ahead and preview those 4 games that are going on in the next 2 days. We're going to talk about the controversy in England with Hugo Lloris, the goalie for Tottenham, and what happened with him this weekend, and the run-in with Romelu Lukaku, and the resulting fallout from the great head injury debate that has been going on, that at least that I've heard over here from British radio. So we're going to talk about that. And if anyone wants to join us, obviously if you want to hit me up on Skype, you can. Let me know that you want to join us. You can also tweet at me at JPUcello. You can send me a message in the chat room on lowlimitpokerradio.com. Come on into the chat room and have any questions, post them there. You can also go to our dedicated thread on pokerforums.org and post any questions there. I will try to have that up and look at that time and time again as we move on for the evening, but probably going to be a little bit of a short show tonight. The reason Ben and I do this show together is Ben does do a lot of research, especially on the leagues that he covers. Ben is going to be the main guy that covers Spain, Germany, and England for us. And obviously because he lives in England, so England is easy for him to cover. He does get a lot of Spanish coverage over there, and he does get pretty much the major leagues. The one league I believe he said he doesn't see too much of is Italy, but here in the United States we do get plenty of the Italian Serie A, so I tend to cover that for that reason. I also get Ligue 1 games quite a bit, so I tend to cover the French leagues, and here in the United States we get force-fed down our throats the Barclays Premier League, so we usually save the Premier League for last because I can usually offer a little bit of opinion on that. So let's kick it off with the Spanish League and La Liga, keeping in mind that we have 2 games or 2 weeks of games that we're going to be covering in just 1 week. They did manage to run down a ton of games. They played midweek last week to kind of get 2 weeks into one because of the break this week with the Champions League. So last week, as we were airing, the Atletico Bilbao Getafe game had just come to a final with Bilbao winning that game 1-0 at Getafe. So we'll pick it up from there. Moving forward, Barcelona with a 3-0 win over Celta Vigo at Celta Vigo. We had Malaga and Espanyol with a 0-0 draw in an absolute blowout. And I actually tweeted about this during the week last week. We had Real Madrid with a 7-3 win at Sevilla. And just to give you an idea of the goal scores, I mean, it was early and it was often. We had Gareth Bale opening the scoring for Real Madrid in the 13th minute, followed again by Bale in the 27th. Then Cristiano Ronaldo on a penalty brought them to 3-0, and then Ivan Rakitic for Sevilla scored to make it 3-1, and Carlos Baccar to make it 3-2 for Sevilla. For Barcelona at the half. Coming into the second half, Karim Benzema, welcome back to Real Madrid, scoring in the 53rd minute to make it 4-2. And then Cristiano Ronaldo again to make it 5-2, only to have Rakitic score again to make it 5-3. Ronaldo again in the 71st to make it 6-3, and then Benzema completing his brace for the match with a final 7-3. We also had a penalty kick missed by Rakitic in this match to kind of conclude this scoring. Real Madrid with an 18-16 shot advantage with a 10-6 on goal. We had 61% time of possession for Real Madrid. Really a dominant performance by them, but at the same time, just back and forth action. As you can imagine, 10 goals in any one match is something to witness. And I managed to turn this game on at somewhere in the 3-2 mark, and still only missed half the goals. So if you ever get to see a replay of that match, it was definitely something to see at the Bernabeu on Wednesday, October 30th. So moving forward, Osasuna at home with a 3-1 win over Rayo Vallecano. Valencia with a 2-1 loss to Almeria on the at home. And some news came out this week for Valencia that wrong team. We'll move on. Real Valladolid with a 2-2 draw at Real Sociedad. Thursday, October 31st, Halloween, we had Betis and Levante with a 0-0 draw. Bilbao with a 2-2 draw at home to Elche. And the team that I wanted to refer to, Villarreal, with a 2-0 loss at home to Getafe. Villarreal, some bad news this week. They're going to lose Giovanni Dos Santos for a few weeks to, I believe, a thigh injury. That just came across the news recently. We had Granada losing at home 2-1 to Atletico Madrid. And then moving on further into the week, we had on Friday, November 1st, Barcelona with a 1-0 win at home against Espanyol. This past Saturday, we had Celta Vigo with a 1-0 win at Sevilla. Real Madrid with a 3-2 win at Rayo Vallecano. Almeria with a 1-0 win at home to Real Valladolid. Real Sociedad with a 5-0 win at home to Osasuna. Malaga with a 3-2 win at home to Real Betis. Granada with a 1-0 win on the road at Levante. Atletico Madrid with a 2-0 win at Atletico Bilbao. Valencia with a 1-0 road win at Getafe. And to close it out on Monday, we had Villarreal with a 1-0 win at Elche. So that concludes 2 weeks of Spanish play wrapped into one. Going into the table, we have Barcelona with, and again, this is week 12 or match day 12 in the Spanish league. Barcelona with 11 wins, 1 draw, no defeats. They are on 34 points with a 27-goal differential to the good. Atletico right on their heels at 33 points. Real Madrid third place with 28 points. Fourth place, Villarreal with 23. Atletico Bilbao in fifth with 20. And Getafe in sixth place with 19 points. Bringing up the bottom, just outside the relegation zone, is Osasuna at 10 points. Then we have a three-way tie for the relegation zone. Real Betis, Almeria, and Rayo Vallecano, all on 9 points. Real Betis is a -9 goal differential. Almeria with a -10, and Vallecano with a -20 goal differential. So what we're seeing is some separation at the top of the table here. Madrid is 5 points back of Atletico. Real Madrid 5 points back of Atletico Madrid, and they are 5 points ahead of Villarreal. Villa's in the playoff spot for Champions League for next year, and Barca and Atletico really starting to distance themselves a little bit from Real Madrid, putting them into a solid third place position in the league. So that is the quick and easy rundown of the Spanish Primera Division, also known as La Liga. So moving on to France, and again, all leagues played basically a double schedule here. So again, 2 weeks of games played, starting with let's see here. Just trying to get my bearings as to what games were played when. We had last Saturday, I believe we did not cover these games as of yet. So we're going to go all the way back to Friday, October 25th, with a Lille 1-0 win over Nantes. Coming on to Saturday, Evian with a 1-0 win on the road to Valenciennes. Stade Rennes with a 5-0 win over Toulouse. 2-1. Lorient with a 2-1 win over Sochaux. Guingamp with a 2-1 win over Ajaccio. Bastia with a 1-0 win over Nice. Stade de Reims with a 3-2 road win at Marseille. Moving on into Sunday, we have Saint-Étienne with basically a thriller here, tying at home to Paris Saint-Germain. Keeping in mind Saint-Étienne is towards the mid-table and further down in the Ligue 1, and obviously PSG is the cream of the crop. Saint-Étienne actually took the lead in this game in the 18th minute with Cornier with a goal, extending their lead to 2-1 at the beginning of the second half, with Hamoua with a goal in the 51st minute. Then we had in the 68th minute Edson Cavani with a goal. And in a gorgeous goal at the end of the match, Blaise Matuidi with a goal in the 90th minute plus 3 minutes into stoppage time to salvage the points for PSG over Saint-Étienne. Shots on goal, PSG 21-9 with a 4-3 on goal advantage, and they held 70% of the possession. Also in this match, Saint-Étienne was down a man at one point. Just looking up the stat here, we had Lemoyne with a red card in the 59th minute sending off, which really kind of opened things up for PSG in this match. I did get to see part of this match. Allowed them to come back and salvage the 2 points there. So moving on, we had Monaco with a 2-1 home win at Lyon against Lyon, and Bordeaux with a 2-0 home win against Montpellier. Moving on to Friday, November 1st, PSG with a 4-0 win over Lorient. Moving on to Saturday, we had Stade de Reims with a 4-2 win over Bastia at home. Sochaux with a 0-0 draw at Saint-Étienne. Lyon with a 2-0 draw at Guingamp. Evian with a 2-1 win at home to Toulouse. Valenciennes with a 3-1 road win at Ajaccio. And Marseille with a 1-1 draw on the road to Stade Rennes. Moving on to Sunday's match, we see Lille with a 2-0 win over Monaco, allowing PSG to kind of pull ahead of them in the standings. We have Bordeaux with a 2-1 win over Nice. And last but not least, was probably the most thrilling finish of any of the matches in Europe this weekend, Montpellier with a 1-1 home draw to Nantes. Montpellier really held the play of the last, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes of this match. I did get to see this match. And that is resulting in a goal in the second half with 8 seconds remaining in regular time to tie this match up and salvage the point. That goal scored by Bakar for Montpellier in this match as well. So just a stunning finish there for that particular game. Moving on to the tables, and of course that match becomes very important because Montpellier in 16th place on 13 points, and Nantes, who's currently in the Europa League position, in 4th place at 20. So going from the top, Paris Saint-Germain at 28 points. They are 8 wins, 4 draws, no defeats, plus 17 goal differential. Second place is no longer Monaco. Due to their loss, Lille moves into the second position there with a plus 11 goal differential and 26 points. Monaco in the Champions League playoff position right now for Ligue 1 on 25 points with plus 10 goal differential. Nantes, as mentioned before, 20 points plus 6. Then we have a 3-way tie for 5th place between Marseille, Stade de Reims, and Saint-Étienne. all three on 18 points. Coming into the bottom of the table, we have Lorient outside the relegation zone on 10 points with a minus 12 goal differential. We have in the relegation zone Valenciennes with a 8-point, minus 9 goal differential. Ajaccio and Sochaux are both on 7 points. Ajaccio with a minus 10 goal differential and Sochaux with a minus 12 goal differential. So that will wrap the Ligue 1 for us, and we will move on to the German Bundesliga, who, for me, again, I don't get to see too much of, unfortunately. So I usually rely heavily on Ben in this situation. But so we move on. VfB Stuttgart with a 1-1 draw at home to Nuremberg. That was on Friday the 25th. On to Saturday, Wolfsburg with a 3-0 win at home to Werder Bremen. Schalke with a 3-1 loss at home to Borussia Dortmund. Mainz with a 2-0 win at home to TSV. Hanover with a 4-1 loss to Hoffenheim. Bayern Munich with a 3-2 win at home to Hertha Berlin, which is kind of a surprising line, seeing Munich give up 2 goals there at home, but they do come away with the win at the Allianz Arena. Leverkusen with a 2-1 win at Augsburg. We had on Sunday the 27th, Borussia Mönchengladbach with a 4-1 win at Frankfurt. I'm sorry, at home to Frankfurt. Freiburg with a 3-0 defeat at home to Hamburg. On Friday, November 1st, Borussia Dortmund with a 6-1 win at Stuttgart. And just looking into this match a little closer, 6-1 is an awfully large scoring line. We have got a slew of goals from Robert Lewandowski, 3 to be exact. Marco Reus with a goal as well added in that one. So Borussia Dortmund with a 17-3 shot advantage, 10-1 on goal. With 53% time of possession, I would have expected to see a much larger number there than 53-47. And Roman Wiedenfeller did not make a save in this match. The only shot that Stuttgart had on goal went in, so must have been sleeping on the job. So again, 6-1 Borussia Dortmund at home to Stuttgart. Moving on to Saturday the 2nd, Eintracht Frankfurt with a 2-1 home loss to Wolfsburg. TSV Braunschweig to a 1-0 win against Leverkusen at home, which is a little bit of an upset. TSG Hoffenheim with a 2-1 home defeat to Bayern Munich. Nuremberg with a 3-0 home defeat to Freiburg. Hertha Berlin with a 2-0 home defeat to Schalke. And Hamburg with a 2-0 defeat at home to a 2-0 loss at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Final 2 games on Sunday, November 3rd. We had Werder Bremen with a 3-2 victory at home to Hanover, and FC Augsburg with a 2-1 win at home against Mainz. So moving on to the tables for the German Bundesliga, we have Bayern Munich, again, week 11 in the Bundesliga. They are on 9 wins, no defeats, 2 draws, 29 points with a plus 17 goal differential. Borussia Dortmund in second place, definitely floated by that 6-1 win. They are plus 22 on the goal differential. They are on 9 wins and 28 points. Leverkusen holding the 3rd spot for the Champions League on a plus 11 goal differential and 25 points, just 3 points back of Borussia Dortmund. Then we start to see some separation. 6 points back to Borussia Mönchengladbach at 19 points. Wolfsburg at 18 points. Schalke at 17 points. Bringing up the bottom, outside the relegation zone, we have Frankfurt on 10 points. Freiburg in the playoff position at 8 points. And then Nuremberg and TSV both on 7 points. Nuremberg with a minus 11 goal differential and TSV with a minus 15. So we still see sort of a 2-horse race here, 3-horse race. If you want to count Leverkusen, then we start to see a drop back to Mönchengladbach. But I'm surprised at this point we still haven't seen a little bit more separation from Bayern Munich, from Dortmund. Dortmund still holding with them at 11 matches in, just 1 point back. So that is our Bundesliga review. moving forward, we are going to get into the Serie A, which is something that I probably have a great deal of familiarity with. Moving on, Tuesday, October 29th, match day. Atalanta with a 1-1 draw at home to Internazionale, which is somewhat of a minor upset there. Moving on to Wednesday, Sassuolo with a 2-1 home loss to Udinese. Livorno and Torino with a 3-3 draw, which Torino will become very important in a moment. Juventus with a 4-0 win at home to Catania. Hellas Verona with a 2-0 win at home against Sampdoria. Genoa with a 1-0 win at home against Parma. Fiorentina losing to Napoli at home 2-1. Looking into that game a little bit deeper here. We're going to, as these are two teams that are well at the top of the Serie A. We had, as I'm loading the match stats here, Giuseppe Rossi with a 28-minute penalty goal. That is sandwiched between a 12-minute goal by Callejon and a Mertens goal in the 36th minute. We have Fiorentina with a very large shot advantage, 11-4. But as far as it goes on goal, 3-2. Fiorentina with a 3-2 shot on goal advantage. We did have red cards in this game. Time of possession is 69-31 in favor of Fiorentina. Moving deeper into the match statistics here as well. Quadrado was sent off at the end of the game. Looks to me like yellow card accumulation. And Christian Maggio sent off in the 80th minute. Again, yellow card accumulation. So the red card in the 90th minute to Quadrado really doesn't matter much as it's at the end of the game. Looks like Fiorentina did have an opportunity to kind of put themselves back on level terms with Napoli, but no such luck. So again, Napoli 2, Fiorentina 1. Moving forward, we have Bologna with a 3-0 road win at Cagliari, and Milan with a 1-1 draw at home to Lazio. On Thursday, Halloween, we had Roma with a 1-0 win over Chievo Verona. Pretty standard for Roma, winning 1-0. They haven't been scoring a ton of goals as of late, but they certainly are not giving any goals up. 67th minute goal by Marco Borriello in this one to close it out. Roma with an 18-2 shot advantage with a 3-1 on goal advantage, and they held 65% of the possession in this match. So again, Roma 1, Chievo 0. Moving forward, Napoli with a 2-1 home win against Catania. Milan, who's falling a little bit on hard times here, as we saw, they drew Lazio at home, and then they lose 2-0 at home to Fiorentina at the San Siro. Just going back into the match statistics here, we had Vargas with a 27th minute goal and Valero with a 27th minute goal as well. Milan, 17 shots, 0 on goal, and the possession's 50-50. It's 51-49 in favor of Fiorentina. Fiorentina 2 shots on goal, both of them go in. 4 shots total. So AC Milan really struggling as of late, and then we'll get into that as well when we talk Champions League. So Juventus with a 1-0 win against Parma on the road. Then we had Livorno with a 1-0 win against at home against Atlanta. Hellas Verona with a 2-1 win at home to Cagliari. Lazio with a 2-0 loss at home against Genoa. Sampdoria, in somewhat of a surprise, Sampdoria losing at home 4-3 to Sassuolo. And then Internazionale on the road winning 3-0 against Udinese. I'm going to bring up, there's one more Sunday score, but I do want to chat about it a little bit. The Monday score, pretty ho-hum. Bologna 0, Chievo 0. So the last match that I do want to talk about is somewhat of an upset, but it actually was kind of predictable. This was kind of one of the spots that we thought they might struggle a little bit. And we have Roma with their first blemish on the campaign, a 1-1 draw on the road at the Stadio Olimpico to Torino. Kevin Strootman opening the game, opening the scoring with a goal in the 28th minute. only to be outdone by Alessio Cerci, who scored in the 63rd minute to tie the match. And Cerci's only the second person in Serie A this year to score on Roma. Roma's pretty much blanked everybody, and I forget the gentleman from Udinese, I believe it was, who scored the only other goal against Roma this season. Stats on the match: shots 14-12 in favor of Torino, with a 5-3 on goal advantage for Torino. We had time of possession, Roma really, really holding the ball here, and I did see this match, so that was certainly expected. Roma 64-36 on the possession advantage as well. So in somewhat of a moderate upset in Serie A this week, Torino managing to steal a point and ruining the perfect record of Roma. So now they're back. They are human, I guess is safe to say. So going into the tables, and this is week 11 in Serie A. We have Roma at the top of the table with 31 points, followed by Napoli and Juventus, both tied on 28 points each. Napoli with a plus 16 goal differential, and Juve with a plus 13 goal differential. From here, we see some separation. We've got two teams tied at fourth place, who are both firmly in the Europa League section of the table. Internazionale with a plus 15 goal differential at 22 points, and Hellas Verona with only a plus 5 goal differential at 22 points. Followed closely by Fiorentina, who really seems to be coming on strong lately with a resurgence from Giuseppe Rossi. They're on 21 points, and then it's a little ways back to Lazio at 15 points. Bringing up the bottom of the table, a little bit of a logjam to get into the relegation zone. We currently have in 15th place Cagliari with 10 points, minus 8 goal differential, and Bologna with 10 points and a minus 9 goal differential, and Sampdoria, who is just outside the relegation zone based on differential. There are also on 9 points with a minus 8 goal differential. Moving into the relegation zone, we have Sassuolo. If you recall, Sassuolo just recently won their first match. They've also now won their second match, as we saw in the scores. They're on 9 points with a minus 15 goal differential. We have Catania at 6 points with a minus 12, and Chievo Verona, who is on minus 11 goal differential and 5 points overall. So both Catania and Chievo are going to have to do some work to get past the likes of Sampdoria, and apparently Sassuolo. Sassuolo is really starting to play a little bit better as of late. So that is your Serie A wrap-up. Let's go on to the Premier League. One match that happened on Monday, the 21st, which I believe we did report to everybody, was Fulham 4, Crystal Palace 1 at Crystal Palace. So moving forward from there, we have Southampton, and this is Saturday the 26th. We have Southampton with a 2-0 win at home to Fulham. We have Norwich and Cardiff playing a 0-0 draw. Man United with a 3-2 win at home against Stoke. This was a match that was shown nationally here on NBC Sports Network. We have Javier Hernandez, who put on the big dunce cap this afternoon, as we'll talk about later. With a goal, Wayne Rooney and Robin Van Persie all scoring for Man United. Peter Crouch, who opened the scoring in the 4th minute, and Marko Arnautovic in the 45th minute had given Stoke the lead just before halftime, going into the locker room at 2-1 at the half. Manchester with a 19-10 shot advantage, even on the shots on goal, 5-5, with Man United holding 67% of the possession in this match. So again, we have Man United 3, Stoke 2. Liverpool 4, West Bromwich Albion 1. We had Everton with a 2-0 win on the road at Aston Villa. We had Arsenal with a 2-0 win on the road at Crystal Palace. And on Sunday the 27th, Spurs with a 1-0 win at home to Hull City. Swansea and West Ham played to a 0-0 draw. Chelsea with a 2-1 win over Man City. This is probably the marquee match of the weekend. We have Andre Schürrle opening the scoring in the 33rd minute, followed by Sergio Aguero in the 49th, and then Fernando Torres with a 90th minute goal to close out this match and win the match for Chelsea. We had Man City with a 15-12 shot advantage with a 6-on-4 shot on goal advantage and 54% of the possession. So Manchester City really holding most of the play and most of the attack in this one, but unable to close it out overall. So we're looking at Chelsea 2, Man City 1. Sunderland with a 2-1 win at Newcastle. And again, this match is a major lift to the folks of Sunderland. We had Fabio Borini and Stephen Fletcher scoring for Sunderland, and Newcastle with a Debuchy goal in the 57th minute for Newcastle. Borini's goal in the 84th minute, so really kind of stealing one away there for them. And getting them finally moving in the right direction. Sunderland been in a lot of turmoil to start out this season with Paulo Di Canio sacking and trying to get on track here. So it looks like they may be headed in the right direction. So moving on to Saturday, November 2nd, this past weekend, Arsenal with a 2-0 win at home to Liverpool. Again, this is probably one of the marquee matchups of the weekend. We had Santi Cazorla in the 19th minute and Aaron Ramsey scoring in the 59th minute. Shots on goal, shots were 12-12. Arsenal with the majority of their shots on goal, 7-4 on that advantage, and they held 54% of the possession. So really, the better team on the weekend. Nothing to speak of here from Luis Suarez or anybody like that. So, again, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 0. West Ham United with a 0-0 draw against Aston Villa at home. West Bromwich Albion with a 2-0 win at home to Crystal Palace. Stoke and Southampton played to a 1-1 draw. The other, I would imagine if you wanted to call it the highlight game, but it would certainly be a blowout, is Man City with a 7-0 win at home at the Etihad to Norwich City. Bradley Johnson for Norwich, an own goal in the 16th minute, followed by Silva in the 20th, Nastachis in the 25th. Negredo in the 36th, Yaya Toure in the 60th, Aguero in the 71st, and Edin Dzeko in the 86th minute, completely spreading the goal scoring around in this match. 27-7 shot advantage with a 10-1 shot on goal advantage. 68% of the possession. Man City just absolutely dominating this match. Probably, though, the story of this match is going to be the fact that the goaltender for Man City was not Joe Hart in this match. It was Kostel Pantilimon. I knew I was going to mess that name up. So, and that's something we will talk about in next week's Man City Corner, Sir Bob's Man City Corner, as we like to call it around here. So, I do have something else for Man City this week. Moving forward, Hull City with a 1-0 win at home to Sunderland. Fulham with a 3-1 home loss to Man United. Newcastle with a 2-0 win at Chelsea. The Magpies holding on, taking the 1-0 lead in this match in the 68th minute by Gouffran, and then Loic Remy with a beautiful goal to finish this one out in the 89th minute and really nail it up for the Magpies. Magpies held a 15-13 shot advantage with an 8-2 shot on goal advantage. They did not hold the possession, and you would expect something like that with a midfield that Chelsea has. 61-39 on the possession. Jose Mourinho on the post game conference and interviews did say that he felt that Newcastle was the much better team. I would tend to agree with him. They definitely took advantage of their chances and did more to earn the win for the match. So Newcastle with a 2-0 win at home at St. James's Park to Chelsea. Moving on to Sunday the 3rd, Cardiff with a 1-0 win at home to Swansea in a Wales derby there. And last but not least, Spurs and Everton played to a 0-0 draw at Goodison Park on Sunday. So giving you the standings, things are beginning to get knotted up at the top of the Premier League standings, and Man United is not part of this discussion. We have Arsenal at the top of the table, 5 points clear of second place. They're in 25 points with a plus 13 goal differential and playing reasonably well, I would say, right now. So they look to be in total command at the moment. I know we've discussed if they can maintain this type of control on the Premier League. I don't entirely think it's possible. I think Chelsea's still playing reasonably well, especially if they get their act together. Man City is just going crazy right now, and Liverpool is playing really well, especially with the return of Luis Suarez. So we've got that. Moving on, we have Chelsea, again as mentioned, plus 8 goal differential, 20 points. We have Liverpool plus 7 and 20 points, and Spurs at plus 4 and 20 points. In fifth place, Man City, the aforementioned Man City, they are plus 17 goal differential, 19 points. Southampton with a plus 7 and 19 points, and Everton with a plus 4 and 19 points. So really, and 2 points back to Man United at 17 points. Then we're back to ninth place, Newcastle at 14, which I think, just to kind of mention it in the discussion here. But I think right now, Man United really has to do something special. I would call it special. I wouldn't call it dramatic. I wouldn't call it miraculous at this point. I'd call it something special to really get going here and start to get into the mix as we move on in the season. Trying to catch one team, even if they're 3 or 4 points ahead of you, is one thing. Trying to catch 4, 5, 6 teams to get back into this mix, you really have to become dependent on those other teams that are ahead of you and their opponents as well. And their opponents could be each other. So you could have a situation where Chelsea and Liverpool are playing each other, and Man U might catch one of them, but not both of them in that day. So you really, as we move on in the season, it's going to be interesting to see them march up from this 8th place position and see if they can actually catch up a little bit here. And moving on to address the bottom of the table, we have Stoke just outside the relegation zone at 9 points with a minus 4 goal differential. We have Norwich now with a minus 14 goal differential thanks to that 7-0 thrashing from Man City. They're on 8 points. Sunderland, again, with their first win of the season, so they are off the schneid. They're on 4 points with a minus 15, and Crystal Palace with 3 points and a minus 15 goal differential. So it's going to be interesting to see if Sunderland can start to pull themselves out of this mix. Norwich, if you remember last year, just barely escaped relegation. And so did Sunderland for that point. Really to the thanks of Di Canio, who they then thanked by letting him go. But you wonder if I don't know that Norwich has it in them to be able to escape this mess. You do have Stoke there and Fulham. Fulham is not playing well at the moment. There is rumors floating around of the potential of Clint Dempsey going back to Fulham on a loan situation while the MLS season is off. We'll wait to see if that happens or not. And it certainly would boost Fulham's chances of remaining in the Premier League. And certainly someone like Clint Dempsey is very, very accustomed to playing for Fulham, so it might be a good thing for both of them. So something to keep an eye on as well. So that's our wrap up of the Barclays Premier League. So let's move on to the Champions League, which concluded their match. Their matches concluded this afternoon. We are going to start out first with Tuesday's matches. We have. In somewhat of, I wouldn't necessarily say a shocker, but something somewhat of an interesting result. We have Man United drawing 0-0 on the road at Real Sociedad. Bayern Leverkusen with a 0-0 draw at Shakhtar Donetsk. We have FC Copenhagen with a 1-0 win at home to Galatasaray in somewhat of a minor upset. We have Olympiacos with a 1-0 win at home against Benfica. We have... Moving into our highlighted matches, we're going to start out with Victoria Pilsen with a 1-0 loss at home to Bayern Munich. I did not get a chance to see this match, but my understanding is from the talking heads on TV that Munich really went at this match with a kind of their B squad. Some of the guys didn't play in this match or played limited time, so the 1-0 draw, the 1-0 score line might be a little surprising, but it's not when you talk about the squad that they put out there. They did hold a shot advantage 22-11 with a 9-1 on goal advantage, and a 72 to 28% possession advantage. So they really did obviously possess the ball. They really had not their total control of the match, just only managing one goal in this match. So again, Bayern Munich 1, Victoria Pilsen 0. Next match, Man City 5-2 win over CSKA Moscow. We'll go into why that is an important result for Man City in this match. But 5-2 win. We the two real stars of this match were Sergio Aguero scoring 2 goals and setting up another, and Alvaro Negredo. And this is somebody that I've been talking about now week in and week out. He's really, I thought he was kind of an underrated acquisition for Man City all year. Really just a great footballer. Seems to have that nice, that ability to kind of use his body that, in the matches that I've seen. Reminds me a little bit of Mario Balotelli, who I'm sure they would love to have back right now, just without all the headaches. But Negredo's really doing a heck of a job for them. Really doing a wonderful job for them, both here in the Champions League with a hat trick, and in the Premier League. Man City with a 15-12 shot advantage, with a 9-6 on goal advantage, holding 59% of the possession. And Pantamillion played in this match as well. No Joe Hart again. So, again, Joe Hart is something we're going to discuss in the upcoming weeks in the Man City corner. But again, Man City 5, CSKA Moscow 2. Next match we want to talk about is PSG with a 1-1 draw. And again, this is at home to Anderlecht, so really, this is somewhat of an upset as well. PSG, I think, are stumbling a little bit here. We saw them do it with the 2-2 draw to Saint Etienne in the Ligue 1 match. We're seeing them to draw 1-1 here to Anderlecht, which again is, to me, kind of a B squad. It's not going to be somebody that you sit there and say, oh, you're playing Anderlecht today. Oh, boy, well, that's going to be a heck of a match. I mean, Anderlecht is a decent team. They must be to get into the Champions League, but certainly not somebody that you would expect PSG to tie. You would have expected PSG to pick up 3 points here. Ibrahimovic with the goal in this match. PSG held a 17-7 shot advantage, but only a 4-3 shot on goal advantage. So really not making many of their shots count there. And a 69% possession advantage. So again, PSG 1, Anderlecht 1. Last match, probably the marquee match of the Tuesday fixtures, would be Juventus 2, Real Madrid 2, and this is a match that I definitely got the chance to watch yesterday. I did watch this one. To me, Juventus had the better of the play in the 2-2 draw. There were these two teams kind of almost like a prize fight where they went back and forth. Real Madrid holding 10% of the 10 minutes of the possession, Juve holding 10 minutes of the possession, Real Madrid holding 10 minutes, Juve 15, Real for 15, Juve back for 10. It really went back and forth, but I thought Juve did a better job of their possession. And it really kind of shows in the stats. The possession overall was pretty even. Real Madrid with a 54-46% possession advantage, and you would expect that with a solid midfield like Real Madrid has. Especially even though Juventus does put the likes of Andrea Pirlo out there. But the telling stat: Juventus with a 24-17 shot advantage. 12-4 on goal. So really, and I thought the man of the match in this game was Ilka Casillas. Made a couple of enormous saves, some of them at point-blank range to Claudio Marchisio. Just really, Real Madrid loses this match if it wasn't for Casillas. Truly, he really, really stood out to me and did what he needed to do to earn points for Real Madrid in this match. So, goal scorers in this match, again, Arturo Vidal led off the scoring with a penalty kick goal, followed by Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale in the second half, to be closed out by Fernando Llorente for Juve to tie it up and earn a point there. So those are your Tuesday matches for the Champions League. And we'll move on to Wednesday. And we're going to highlight some matches in the Wednesday rounds, the matches from earlier today. So I'm going to run down the scores and then pick out the four matches that we'll talk about. Barcelona at home at Camp Nou with a 3-1 win against AC Milan. We have Ajax with a 1-0 win over Celtic at home. Atletico Madrid 4-0 over Austria Vienna. We had Zenit St. Petersburg with a 1-1 draw at home to FC Porto. Napoli with a 3-2 home win against Marseille. Borussia Dortmund losing at home 1-0 to Arsenal. That is Group F, the group of death that we like to say. FC Basel 1-1 draw with Steaua Bucharest, and Chelsea with a 3-0 defeat to Schalke. Let's start off with that Chelsea match. We're looking at a 3-0 win, 2 goals by Samuel Eto'o and the other one by Demba Ba. Chelsea holding 57% of the shot advantage. Of the possession with an 11-7 shot advantage, 7-2 on goal. So really taking it to Schalke. I'm really surprised that Schalke really hasn't done more as of late. As you know, they're out of the Champions League playoff standings in the Bundesliga. Kind of a ho-hum performance from all accounts here on the that I've read so far. And Chelsea, right now, unfortunately, Chelsea is just Jekyll and Hyde all over the place. You're going to get 2-0 losses to the Magpies there at Newcastle, and then they come out and they just dominate a team like Schalke, who's by all accounts a decent team. But you're seeing that they're just not playing consistently right now, and they are my counterparts pick to go and win the Premier League. I just, at the moment, I don't see it, but I also, at the same time, with someone like Mourinho, they've got Peter Cech in goal. They've got a decent back line with John Terry and David Luiz. They're able to play. Ivanovic is back there. Wonderful midfield that they have. Juan Mata. They have Oscar. They have Eden Hazard. They've got some strength there. They've got Demba Ba. Samuel Eto'o seems to be rejuvenated. So I think coming soon you're going to see them start to turn this around a little bit. Will it be enough to catch the likes of Arsenal? Will it be enough to hold off the Liverpools and the Man Cities of the Premier League, or even some of these the Schalkes here in their group matches? I don't think they're going to have an issue getting out of Group E at this point, but they're certainly going to. It's going to be a question as to if they can get this ship back on course to see how they do in the knockout stages moving forward in the Champions League. So, again, Chelsea 3, Schalke 0. Next match, since we've already done the, next match is going to be Napoli-Marseille. Napoli with a 3-2 win at home. And we'll highlight both of the group of death matches here at this point. Again, Group F. Napoli with 3-2 win. Higuain with 2 goals. Napoli holding a 12 to 15. They were actually at a disadvantage. Marseille with a 15 to 12 shot advantage, but Napoli had the better of it, 5-3 on goal. 53 to 47%. I haven't read up much on this match. This is something I'll probably end up doing afterwards. But it's something that, with the group of death, every point's going to count. Napoli, by winning this match and with the following result for the Borussia Dortmund-Arsenal match, really put themselves in a position where they hold their own destiny. I think the winners of the last 2 matches, Arsenal and Napoli, really kind of hold their own destiny. They really need to win one of their last two matches. Napoli obviously going to have a tougher road of it, having to play Dortmund and Arsenal coming up. Arsenal's going to have obviously Napoli and Marseille. So I think Arsenal is probably going to be through to the knockout round. And really we're looking at that Borussia Dortmund-Napoli match coming up that is really going to be for all the marbles out of this group. I think Marseille is definitely way too far gone at this point. I don't think they're catching anybody. Napoli, going into the standings, I believe they're on 9 points at this point. So Marseille cannot catch either of them. They've been eliminated. So going to the Dortmund-Arsenal match, again, this is Dortmund losing a home match to Arsenal. Really, in any type of international competition, you don't want to lose your home matches. At worst, you want to draw them, and certainly they should count as wins. You really want to win the home matches, draw the road matches. So it's really, this is a huge defeat, really going to disable Dortmund and make their road tough moving on. Now, again, I think they'll beat Marseille. Marseille, for some reason, is just not faring well here in the Champions League round here. But Arsenal 1-0 with a goal by Aaron Ramsey in the 62nd minute. Dortmund with a 15-4 shot advantage, but only 3-2 with shots on goal. And Arsenal just slightly better possession, 51-49, and might as well be even. So again, Arsenal I think has the easiest road to get into the knockout stages. Dortmund has the toughest road, and Napoli kind of middle of the road there with Marseille completely out of it. So last match that we're going to highlight here in the Champions League was the Barcelona AC Milan match at the Camp Nou earlier today. We had Messi with 2 goals in this match, Neymar with an assist, I believe. Barca with a 19-4 shot advantage with a 6-1 shot on goal advantage. So obviously Milan making their one shot count, certainly not enough. Possession 63-37. This is a match that I have DVR'd, and as soon as I'm done here tonight, we're going to go upstairs and we're going to watch this match and see exactly how it played out. But I can't see it playing out very well for Milan, knowing that they've lost 3-1 and knowing that they gave up 60% plus of the possession. So Milan, again, we saw them struggling in the Serie A. We're seeing them struggle here on the Champions League. But I think, now that as we move on now and move into the tables, I think we're gonna be reasonably surprised there. So moving into the tables, Group A, Man United leading the way with 8 points, Bayern Leverkusen with 7, Shakhtar Donetsk with 5, Real Sociedad bringing up the rear with 1 point. I think for Sociedad to make it through at this point, I think is a little bit more of a pipe dream. Got to watch out for Shakhtar Donetsk. You could easily see them pick up some points here at the end against one of their last 2 opponents, and I'd have to go into the fixtures and really see who they have left on the dockets for them. But Leverkusen and United look to hold their own destiny or control their own destiny. Should move through, but really Shakhtar Donetsk can make at least Leverkusen's life really miserable. And if Man United doesn't stay on top of their game, you really could see an issue there. So moving forward, Real Madrid leading Group B with 10 points. Then we have Galatasaray and FC Copenhagen at 4 points each, and then bringing up the rear is my beloved Juventus at 3 points. Contrary to what you see here on the table, Juventus really holds all the cards here. Keeping in mind that Galatasaray and Copenhagen both have to play their last 2 matches each are to Madrid and Juventus. They're against the 2 strongest teams here in the group. I actually think Juventus will survive and move on, but they're not going to be able to do it unless they start beating these teams. They are 3 draws and 1 loss in this phase so far, in the first phase, the table phase. Really have to go beat Copenhagen. Galatasaray, that match is going to be in Turkey. It's going to be tough. Copenhagen's going to be at home, and you should really see them destroy a team like Copenhagen. If they don't win that match 3-0, 4-0, I would be utterly shocked. And then Real Madrid is going to just Real Madrid. They're going to do what they do. So you're probably going to see them with 2-0 wins, I would guess, against Galatasaray and Copenhagen, and I think you'll see Madrid and Juventus move on. One of the keys to the 2-2 draw between Juventus and Real Madrid this week is that Madrid did not qualify for the knockout stages yet. They are still trying to fight their way through. So, and I will have the list of teams that did qualify for the knockout at the end of this. So, moving on into Group C, we have Paris Saint-Germain on 10 points, Olympiacos on 7, Benfica on 4, Anderlecht on 1. I think here at this point, the PSG Anderlecht tie was interesting at best, but I don't see PSG not making it out of here. They're going to have a little bit of a bumpy road. I don't think Benfica can really do anything to make this something that they can get into. I think you're going to see Olympiacos and PSG move on. But you could potentially see now, with the fact that Benfica is going to have to play PSG and Anderlecht. They should beat Anderlecht. Really going to be something where if PSG slimps up against Olympiacos for some crazy reason, that Benfica-PSG game becomes a little bit of an important match. And so, PSG is on 10 points, but they're not through yet right now either. So, something certainly to keep an eye on. So again, moving on to Group D, Bayern Munich, 12 points, perfect, 4 matches, 4 wins. They are through. Man City, they are on 9 points. Their only defeat to Bayern Munich. They're 3 wins, 1 loss. They're on 9 points. CSKA Moscow, 3 points. Victoria Pilsen, 0 points. That is pretty straightforward. And just to give you kind of a preemptive strike here, Munich and Man City, both on their way to the knockout stages, having both qualified through. Neither of those teams can catch them. So, moving on to Group E, Chelsea leading the way with 9 points. Schalke in second place with 6 points. Basel third place with 5 points, and Bucharest bringing up the rear 2 points. Schalke, again, we talked about this earlier. Schalke's got to play Basel's, got to play Bucharest. They lost the match to Chelsea. They're going to have to beat Basel, I think. I don't think they can stand a draw there. They could possibly, but they're going to have to worry about. They're going to have to at least win one of those final two matches. It would be better if they beat Basel in case they had to move into a tie-breaking situation where they can show the win against them. But they're really in a spot here at this point where they need to. Schalke needs to do some work here to get through here. So that's that. Now moving on to the Group F, group of death. Arsenal, as we talked about earlier, on 9 points. Napoli on 9 points as well. Dortmund on 6, and Marseille, no wins, no points. Arsenal holding all the cards here, having to go and play Napoli at home, and then having to go play Marseille, I believe, on the road. Napoli is going to have a little bit of a tougher go. They are going to have to do some work against Dortmund to hold them off. I think they're going to need to, at minimum, draw Dortmund and at best beat them. So, again, we talked about this group as the group of death. Napoli's got a tough road. They've got Arsenal. They've got Dortmund left. Dortmund has Napoli and Marseille. Dortmund could easily sneak through, and that Napoli match is going to be very, very important to them. And we're not talking about any old team here. We're talking about last year's runner-ups. So that is going to be the match to watch, is that Napoli-Dortmund. And I will, if you'll give me a minute here in a second after we go through the tables, I will go through. I will find out when that match is being played, so that we can kind of put it on our calendars. Moving forward, Group G, Atletico Madrid, 4 matches, 4 wins. They're the only other perfect team in this table phase. They are on 12 points. Zenit St. Petersburg at 5 points. Porto on 4 points. Austria Vienna on 1 point. Again, this is a race for second place. All 3 teams bringing up the rear are certainly in it. Even Austria Vienna can catch Zenit St. Petersburg. Moving forward, Atletico is through, done, qualified, whatever you want to say. They are in. So the bottom 3 for one spot is going to be something to watch as well. And the last group, Group H, we have Barcelona on 10 points, AC Milan on 5, Ajax on 4 with their first win against Celtic, and Celtic bringing up the rear at 3 points. You're probably still going to see Milan move through. Milan's going to have Ajax and Celtic left on their schedule. I believe they have to play at Celtic, but I'm not 100% positive of that. So you really have, you have something where again, Milan holds all the cards in terms of their ability to get through and qualify for the knockout round. So that is going to be the wrap up on our tables for the Champions League. Moving forward for our schedule, like we had said, next matches for the Champions League is going to be the 26th and 27th. And that is your Borussia Dortmund-Napoli match. It's going to be Tuesday, November 26th at Dortmund. So that is going to be the match of the table phase of this competition. You also have that week, you have Celtic playing at home to AC Milan. So again, another important matchup there. Juve is going to play Copenhagen. Real Madrid at home to Galatasaray, so you could easily see that. The PSG Olympiacos matchup, which we talked about quickly. PSG is playing at home to Olympiacos, so that that could be something to keep an eye on as well. And then closing it out, Napoli's going to play at home to Arsenal, so it looks to me, like by then Arsenal could already have it wrapped up. Dortmund's going to have to play at Marseille to close out that group as well. AC Milan's going to have a home match against Ajax. So AC Milan should qualify as well from that group. So those are the 26th and 27th, and then the final match day for the table stages is going to be December 10th and December 11th. So that is our wrap up of our Champions League. Moving forward, let's do a little MLS. If you want to give me 1 second. I never thought yapping for an hour could be so difficult, but it is a little bit tiring. Moving forward, let's talk MLS. It's something that we haven't really talked about, other than highlighting the Vancouver Whitecaps previously, and Sanvizo's wonderful season leading the MLS and winning the Golden Boot for them. Camilo Sanvizo for the Vancouver Whitecaps. So we have currently we're in the MLS playoffs. We have 8 teams playing 4 matches, playing themselves down to a semifinal. Recapping the scores from Saturday and Sunday's matches, which were the first rounds, they're playing a home-on-home. We have the Seattle Sounders with a 2-1 home loss to the Portland Timbers. You have to remember Portland won the West Division of MLS. Very, very solid team, and they won their first match on the road. So returning home for with a 2-1 lead and the 2 goals on the road. I don't see Seattle being able to come through and really closing this gap. So Fulham, make your phone call to Seattle as quickly as possible to get Clint Dempsey back over to you. New England Revolution with a 2-1 win at home to Sporting Kansas City. Kansas City, again, is another solid team. This is the 2-3 matchup in this group. Kansas City with Graham Zusi on their team, national teamer for the U.S., going back home down 2-1, but having an away goal. So really only need a 1-0 win, and we'll get into the schedule now so that we can talk about which matches are when. I do know that they start tonight, so that is going to be something to watch. I think you're going to see something, that is going to be one of the games to watch to see who moves through. Moving on to last Sunday's matches, we had the LA Galaxy with a 1-0 win at Real Salt Lake. Salt Lake, again, a very strong team. So losing 1-0 on the road is not a horrible thing. Salt Lake could easily turn this around, win 1-0 at home, and then have to go into overtime and shootout. So in Salt Lake, they have Kyle Beckerman on their team. Nick Ramondo's their goalie, who's the third stringer for the U.S. national team. Salt Lake really, is a solid football team. They do play well. They do play well in the midfield, and again with a goaltender like Ramondo, he's one of the better ones in the league. So, and the LA Galaxy, you know what you get. You get Bruce Arena as your head coach, former national team head coach. You get Landon Donovan. You get Robbie Keane. you've got some real talent there. They're the two-time defending national champions here, but keeping in mind that they don't have David Beckham anymore, who is going on to purchase a soccer team in Miami. So it's something that obviously LA will play for the draw. They have Omar Gonzalez in the back line for them. Again, national team central defender. So I do see the Galaxy moving through here, but boy, it is of the smallest of margins. It's going to another one of those matches to watch. Moving forward to the last game, and again another 1-4 match. We had the Houston Dynamo tying at home 2-2 to the New York Red Bull. This result really favors Red Bull. Red Bull only needs a 0-0 draw at home. They're going to be playing in Newark, and again, I'll get into the scheduling. But you're really looking at a Houston team, again, a very good team. They're in the CONCACAF Champions League. But the Red Bull with the likes of Thierry Henry, again, a solid squad as well. They did win the Supporters Shield as the best team in MLS this year with the most points. It is the first piece of hardware New York Red Bull have brought to New York since they initially were started as the New York Metro Stars. So you're something somewhat of an accomplishment for them. Congratulations to them for winning the Supporter Shield there as well. So moving forward, tonight's games should be starting very soon. We have those same New York Red Bull at home to Houston, and Kansas City at home to New England. Meaning that the matches tomorrow will be Kansas City at home to New England. Did I mistake that? I'm sorry, not Kansas City at home to New England. It is going to be on Thursday. We're going to have LA Real Salt Lake at Salt Lake, and we're going to have the Sounders and the Timbers in Portland playing that one out. So looking at the results and looking at the fixtures coming in tonight and tomorrow, my 4 teams moving on from this would be the Red Bull, LA Galaxy, Portland Timbers, and can't make up my mind. I will take the Kansas City. I'll take Sporting Kansas City. Of the narrowest of margins, that's going to be the closest of the 4 matchups. I don't think the Real Salt Lake LA Galaxy one will be as close. I think you're going to see them play to a 0-0 draw. If they play to a 1-1 draw, that favors LA as well. But I think that match will be a draw no matter what. I think the Red Bull will beat Houston tonight. I think the Timbers at home are incredibly strong. And Kansas City's strong at home as well, and that's why I can't completely give this to New England. I think based on the away goal, I think I'm going to give the nod to Kansas City, probably with a 1-0 win to close it out. So that will recap our MLS playoff coverage. So just a couple of other points to talk about here. Sticking with the MLS, we see that the MLS is going to be expanding. We've mentioned just briefly a moment ago David Beckham having a franchise in Miami. You've got to remember the Miami Fusion, folding back in MLS's infancy, coached by Ray Hudson, one of my absolute favorite human beings on the planet. If you've never listened to Ray Hudson do a game, especially a Barcelona game, if you ever have the opportunity to hear the color commentary from Ray Hudson, especially on a Barcelona game, you haven't lived. You really need to go and listen to the man. He's got more knowledge of this game in his pinky than many of us do in our entire bodies. He was the last coach of the Miami Fusion, and just a wonderful person to listen to. But we talked about Miami. Orlando is going to be naming. They'll be the 21st franchise. It's going to be revealed on November 19th. That's when executives from MLS are going to reveal that Orlando will be the 21st franchise. And they've already worked out apparently an announcement date. So we're going to see a 2015 start for the new MLS Orlando franchise. They have approved a $94.5 million funding package to build a stadium for this team in Orlando. And then we're also going to see some of the other things that this article mentions is we're going to see expansion teams in New York City. They don't mention the Miami part, but it's been long known that that Miami is going to be expanding as well. So you're going to see some good expansion for the MLS moving forward. Something that's you're seeing the MLS really come into its own now. In terms of a program, in terms of a league. I'd like to see the MLS actually do a little bit better with their play in the CONCACAF Champions League, which has up until recently been dominated by Mexican squads. And I think you can see it soon. I think things are developing very well here as well. So you're definitely going to see some improvement there. And something that Ben and I talked about off the air and will probably bring up one of these days is the potential creation or debating the potential creation of a worldwide Champions League where we're not just dealing with UEFA. You're bringing clubs in from Africa and from Asia and from Australia and from the United States, Central America, South America. You bring in Club America from Mexico, and you bring in Oles New Boys from Argentina. And some of the big clubs as well. I think it's due. I think it's time. I think this game has expanded to a point where we should be seeing things get a little bigger and a little stronger. I think that's going to be the way to go. So look for that in the future. Ben and I will certainly debate it, and we'll debate the feasibility of it as well coming forward. So. I think at this point I'm probably going to cut this off a little bit. And if I get my closing music queued up here a little bit better, I think what we'll do is close it out for this week. So again, just to reiterate, next week there will be no show as I will be away and unavailable to do the show. At least at the moment there will be no show. We may decide to change that later on, depending on how things look, and if I can get a nice quiet place to broadcast from, we'll definitely go ahead and do something. But I think in the meantime, we'll call it no show. But keep your eye on Twitter. Again, at me, I'm JP Ucello. Ben is the Machine 1984. You can also go on to our dedicated thread on pokerforums.org and see where. If we'll be broadcasting or not, I'm sure we'll go ahead and do that as well. So for those listening in the archives, thank you very much for joining me on this quick hour and 20-minute show and this impromptu show. Ben, if you do listen to this in the archives, buddy, I miss you. It is definitely hard to do this. A special shout-out to Todd Watellis. I do now know what it's like to try and do a show solo, and I can't imagine doing this for 3 hours. So again, thanks for listening. Again, I'm Joe Ucello, and you were listening to Low Limit Football on Low Limit Poker Radio. Good night.